It is January 22nd. We're in deep winter, and we have Chris Bosley all the way from the engineering department. Chris, you're talking about Idaho Transportation Department.
Yes, thanks for having me before you this afternoon. What I'm asking today is for approval of a cooperative agreement between the city and Idaho Transportation Department for this, well, we like to call it the Walnut 95 project, but it is the La Crosse 95 project according to their naming convention. If you remember, I came before you a couple months ago about this and had 3 agreements signed at that time. There was a quitclaim deed and a maintenance agreement and a state-local agreement. Well, during that time, they kept changing things a bit, and this one kind of slipped through the cracks and never got signed. When they asked me for the signed version of it, I didn't have one. So I said, no big deal. I'll just bring that to Public Works with the most current version you've got and get this one signed. And this one is just allowing them to do the work on our property, essentially. Just gives them authority to go ahead and do this project. And as of right now, from the last I've heard, this is a fiscal year 2021 project. And I put this display up just to remind you what the current plan is for that intersection.
Okay. Guys got any questions? Dan?
Nothing here. Looks like housekeeping.
So are you comfortable with this design? I mean, is it everything we wanted to get?
Yes, I mean, it does have some repercussions on CityLink. I think that's the biggest repercussion to this, because they won't be able to continue south down Lincoln like they have been historically. But we've worked with them, and they have a new route designed, and they've invited us to go along on a test ride of that coming up soon. So we're going to check it out and see how it works for them. And I think this will be a good opportunity for the neighborhood to kind of bring back its neighborhood and get a lot of that commuter traffic out of there.
So we didn't lose any access on Walnut. Got a right off and a right on, no left turn. Correct.
It's the Lincoln leg that really gets severed from this, because you would have to, coming north on Lincoln, you would have to turn right on Walnut, and you really can't get down to Lincoln from Walnut or 95.
You're good with it?
Yes.
No other questions? Look for a motion.
I would make a motion to that council approve the cooperative agreement with ITD for US 95 improvements near La Crosse Walnut Avenue.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any other thoughts, comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Consent, please. Chris, you're up again. Lot 9, one of our famous lots around town, right?
Right, yes. So the reason why I'm here for this one is to ask for approval of an amendment to the plat of these Ignite lots. If you remember, there were 10 lots across down Park Drive that Ignite owned and had subdivided and was selling those lots. Well, some of those lots contained trees on them, and therefore they added in these building envelopes as to where the buildings were, or the homes, including porches, things like that, were supposed to be positioned on the lot. But nothing was said on the plat about the reason for those and protection of trees or anything like that. Well, the purchasers of Lot 9, Roger and Joanne Wing, had looked at a tree that was on this lot. And here, I'll just zoom in here a little bit. And this Lot 9 right here is the lot in question. You can see it's got this notch taken out of what was allowable for the house there. And the reason for that was because of, and it's really hard to see here, but there was a tree positioned right here on that lot. And another image here shows the tree standing right here. Well, it was deemed as being okay tree to be there, but upon further inspection, when the Wings bought the property, they had an arborist go out and take a look, and, whoops, wrong way. And it was shown to be having been struck by lightning in the past. And that is the scar that comes down the side of it. In cross-section view, that's what the burn marks into the tree look like. So they had the tree removed and then found out about this tree protection attempt and all of this. So what they were asking now is that the tree is gone. They're asking for an amendment to this plat to allow the house to be built where they had originally intended for it to be built. And you can see here, this is the original line that kind of shows this notch out for that tree. But then the other setbacks were right along here. And so they're really moving their setback line to be consistent with the others on the lot. And so this is where we're at here, is just asking for an amendment to this plat, and they've worked with the city and have agreed to donate $500 to the Urban Forestry Committee, and that would be used to buy a tree of a notable species, something that we don't have a bunch of them around, and plant it in that city park near Memorial Park there, somewhere close to the house. So that was the concession that was made there. So I would stand for any questions, and also the Wings are here, as well as our urban forester and Jake from our planning department.
Keek, questions?
Oh, sure, thanks, Woody. It's like, wake up here. The original footprints that were created, the building envelope, which obviously has a notch to protect a tree, who designed that? Was that city planning or?
That was Welch Comer engineers working for Ignite.
Okay, for Ignite. So
Yes.
This was their plan. And then normally, if a tree is removed, the ordinance kind of by standard says that a tree has to be replaced. Is that the in lieu of that you're talking about?
Yes, and that is normally with street trees, where this one was on private property technically because it's outside of the right-of-way, so it didn't fall into that same category.
Okay. I don't really have anything. I think this looks pretty straightforward, and if the building envelope was created to protect a tree that's no longer there, it doesn't really make sense to create the building to leave that footprint. But I just wanted to make sure that this is coming through council, and so it was kind of odd to me that it wouldn't have gone through from where it started and coming or through planning and zoning or through Ignite and there. So I was kind of, why is this coming back through the council side rather than where it was created or up from planning?
And I believe the reason for that is because it is a plat issue.
Okay.
Dan?
Yeah, I would agree. It seems to make sense. It sounds like everybody involved did what they did in good faith. I remember, some of our discussions being on the Ignite board and the attempt to work with that. And again, it sounds like they tried and found out, problem with the tree, and somebody off of our own list that they had come and deal with it. And given that, I mean, it certainly seems reasonable that they should be able to have kind of the same line for a setback as everybody else. So anyway, I'm good to.
Yeah, there isn't a letter in the packet from the arborist to examine the tree, so.
So I thought this tree was pretty lucky to have lived this long, being hit by lightning.
That kind of
I
damage.
think
It was
it's
trying to heal itself.
Well, now it's gone, and I totally agree with this. I don't think you guys should have to put up $500 for a tree somewhere. It just doesn't, it's lightning strike. It's not in the right of way. It's private property. I'm for kicking it down the road, let them do what they want with their $500. But other than that, I'll support this.
Then I'd make a motion that council approve the modification to the Park Drive Addition Lot 9 building envelope and reduce front yard setback of 20 feet to be consistent to the other lots. in the subdivision. Are we just, is 20 feet an actual need to be read in here, or is, because it's really a notched line, is it going to go straight to an even line then?
It is an even line, I believe. I'm not
Okay.
sure what that,
And I'll make a
this little
second.
notch over here is.
Second to whatever my conversational motion is.
Any other top?
What's the left on the line? I mean, it's that dotted line on the left from the notch. That's where the
That's the
new,
bicycle trail.
This would be the new setback line right there.
Okay,
Consistent with the others, yes.
okay.
and I just clarify, I'm assuming, I mean, it sounds like everybody has come to an agreement and they're going to make a donation. I can, kind of identify with your point, but at this point, just to be clear, the motion we're making is to accept their negotiated package, which includes a donation for a tree. So,
We can change that at council, right?
I mean, if you want to bring it up and take it out and
Spin
have
it
some
around.
discussion.
If it was you, how would you feel? Okay.
Yeah,
all
I'm
those in-
with you.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Let's bring it up just for fun. Put it on the agenda one more time, okay?
Oh, I get to present this again?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Because it's interesting, Better pictures of the tree and a $500 bill.
Right.
Sorry, I got carried away. I need more sleep. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item 3, all the way from wastewater management, it's Mike Becker. Come and talk to us about wastewater.
Good afternoon, Council. Public Works, I bring pictures. Where is it?
Thanks, you guys.
Okay, we'll just do this the old-fashioned way. So today I am here to discuss our annual contract with JUB Engineers for our public works improvements and rehabilitation and replacement projects. I'd like to first start out by saying, as you might be aware, the city went through an RFP process last year, and JUB was vetted in November of 2018 with the wastewater utilities RFP. So this year, our projects are pretty extensive. As you can see, I've highlighted some bullets right here. We have a CIPP project. We have some repairs that we need. We also have a pump station that needs improvements. We've got to finish our Interceptor Repair, and we also have some miscellaneous point repairs that need to be done out in the sewer infrastructure. So let's just first go over what we know. We know that we have roughly 660 feet of 24-inch B Interceptor pipe at the 12th and Indiana area that is severely deteriorated. As you can see, this is a 2-foot diameter pipe flowing quite full. Our goal is to get it to the pipe on the right, which is your 30-inch M Interceptor repair that we went through 2 years ago. And just wrapped up. So we also are going to have to do some extensive bypass pumping because we have this much flow in that pipe. And depending on where bids come in, we always put an add alt on there for any other pipes that we discover along the way that are prioritized to be immediately repaired. Moving on to our next one, we have a open trench repair. On the left here, and I'm not sure why this was permitted, we are looking downstream on this pipe, and it appears that at one point somebody allowed a contractor to shove an 8-inch pipe inside a 10-inch pipe, thus creating a potential blockage area in the bottom here. You can kind of see how much smaller this pipe is than the 10-inch pipe. Our goal, obviously, is to take it to the pipe that's on the right. This is one of our typical open trench projects that you're seeing on the right. Oh, by the way, that's located up by the Bora Elementary School, so we will probably be targeting that one over the summer when there's no school.
So the picture on the left there, it looked like kind of an alien creature, but that's not a...
This is your concrete pipe. Concrete at one time was permitted as an acceptable means of conveying sewer. Okay. Why they allowed a smaller pipe to be essentially just shoved up. I was talking more
about the black blob in the middle, but that's, anyway, bad joke, okay.
Oh, I didn't quite see that. Here, let me put on my glasses so I can actually see. Hey, look at that.
From the deep.
That's a good one.
No, that's nothing serious there. Let's just, where am I?
Yeah, don't want to throw you off track there.
So we do have a pump station located on the east side of town in the Fernand Village area. It's currently serving property within the city of Coeur d'Alene. This pump station at one time was a packaged type pump station that's been modified through the years. Well, in the process, what has happened is this is essentially a silo that a person has to climb down 14 feet down underground to get in to access electrical controls and the piping and the plumbing, everything down there. That is also known as confined space entry. People have to go down there. They're supposed to have all sorts of safety equipment to protect them from in the event something were to occur. This, while it does meet the current electrical code, it's kind of a gray area on whether or not we should have somebody in the same area that would potentially, if a pipe broke, would spring water, sewage everywhere, and in the same environment as an electrical facility. We would like to go ahead and fast track this project to, one, bring it into the electrical code compliance, to remove the confined space entry, but more importantly, we'd like it to comply with our current lift station policies. We'd like to make this uniform with the rest of the pump stations so we have compatibility. We can bring generators in, or we can park a generator down here that's compatible with the rest of our pump stations.
Excuse me. Mike, where's this located?
This is located at Fernand, and this is going out around the lake, Fernand Lake, this road right here. And I believe this would be Fernand Court. Don't quote me on that location, but it's one of the last properties within the city of Coeur d'Alene right there.
So between the city of Coeur d'Alene, where Fernand Village starts?
Fernand Village would be south, across the highway, the road
Okay.
here. Excellent question.
Okay.
Next, we have our Interceptor Repair. This project, well, was very multifaceted, and we had that 4-foot hole. Well, during our repair process, somebody was fortunate enough to climb up inside that pipe and take some pictures. And we have a void space that's created above this pipe. We have since repaired the pipe. It is safe. There's no threat of a collapse here. However, this void space has formed through the years during the process. And so we're looking at different options to evaluate that slope stabilization, what the ground's doing underneath there, as well as a remediation plan. And if needed, we need to implement that plan. The conceptual is one of my fancy hand drawings on the right. Kind of shows in yellow. That's all void space. This pipe was originally installed back in the early 40s, and it was done through a process called tunneling. So it'd be very similar to the mines up over the pass, how they build all this cribbing and then pushed this pipe through, but then they left all this airspace up in here. Well, we'd like to consider what are our options. Should we fill that? Should we not fill that? It's survived this long. It's pretty deep there. It's 32 feet down. It's going to require some out-of-box thinking to figure out how extensive this void space is as it travels down the pipe. So that is in this year's contract. As well as we keep a management reserve fund. And that management reserve fund addresses any unforeseen sanitary issues that we have out there. But if we have to fill that void space, we've allocated a fund in there enough to help cover that. And all else fails, we have our Mr. Manhole that we're implementing, and we also have some manhole lining that actually, similar to the CIPP process, lines our manholes at a fraction of the cost of a manhole installation. So with this, I've provided a breakdown of JEB's cost for providing these engineering services. I would like to bring to everyone's attention that we have the CIPP trenchless is considerably lower than normal because we've already done that, the plans for that at 95% completion. The Interceptor is kind of low. We don't know what our options are yet, but you can see we've covered the cost in case we have to remediate that void space. So with that, it's brought before Public Works to either authorize or approve staff to have council sign an agreement with JEB Engineers for professional engineering services associated with the scopes that I mentioned above at a cost of $249,000. And with that, I'll entertain any questions.
Danny boy?
Well, we've now, been through it a couple of years now, so kind of the ongoing routine. So I guess bottom line, you feel like you've got enough in the fund for this list of projects this year? And
actually, that's a very good question there, Councilman English. This project's going to take us into the next fiscal year as well.
Okay.
So I expect that the contract with JEB is going to be very little next year as these projects are going to extend into next year. We anticipate a long lead time with some of the lift station parts this year. We still are anticipating the CIPP project. It is critical. The quality of that pipe and structural integrity is somewhat questionable, similar to the Interceptor line. These interceptor lines have slower flows, so they show signs of deterioration that we were not aware of several years back. And so we're now aggressively reviewing all of our interceptor pipes.
Okay.
No, I just think your PowerPoint is good. It's very, even your hand drawings, they help us understand what the physical piece of these line items looks like, but it wasn't included in the packet. So if it can be included in the packet with the minutes, that would be, I'd appreciate that. And the other question I had is, this, actually, no, the question is answered in the staff report.
So this 249 is just for the engineering?
Yes.
You have enough money to do these projects as they engineer?
We budget $750,000 this fiscal year for this. And so, like I said, it's going to carry over in the next fiscal year.
The CIP engineering, is that based around the foot?
It's a combination of linear footage based on diameter. It costs more to do a larger diameter pipe as a 24-inch versus an 8-inch pipe.
So the guys who put the pipe, the CIPs in, don't just come in and do it. They have to engineer it.
It actually, what you see in that estimate, if I can back up, that mostly covers the cost of inspection and construction management services. The design was already included in fiscal year 2018. We were aware of this, but we had other projects. We were fixing that Interceptor pipe, which consumed a lot of our resources in this area. So yes, but the $54,000 that you see right here for the trenchless CIPP is mostly to take this to the design to the finish line, the last 5%, and construction management services.
That's all I got.
Typically, it is more than this.
Okay. look for a motion.
Then I would make a motion that the council approve the professional engineering services agreement for JUB Engineering for the professional engineering services for tasks associated with the 2019 wastewater collection system capital improvement projects in the amount of $249,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other thoughts, comments? With that, I will ask all those in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Well, do you want this on consent or represented?
Yeah, I think consent will only make the engineer work this week. For an
Too many
adjournment.
pictures?
We have to motion to adjourn,
Motion
or
to
we're just
adjourn,
good?
I'm sorry,
Okay.
yeah, I'm trying to get.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to get out of here. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Well, please let us stay more.